Good day, everyone. How are we doing today? Today on the show, we've got a fantastic woman, Obiageli Olubunmi-Davies. Everyone calls her Obi. Obi is a multidimensional woman. She's an encourager. She's an equiper. She believes strongly that everyone is a piece of God's puzzle, and we must all take responsibility to keep moving till we find our position and make the big picture complete. She's passionate about helping people be better and do better, particularly women and children. Obi is a certified supply chain professional with 18 years experience in helping organizations design their procurement ecosystems, optimize their processes, and add value to their bottom lines. She's also a business strategy consultant, a personal development coach, a speaker, and a career mentor. She is a member of the board of the West Central Women's Resource Center, a volunteer teacher for the EAL beginner classes for immigrants within our community, and she's blessed with 2 sunshines. Welcome to the show, Obi. How are you doing today?
I am very well, thank you, Kemi. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to have you in here. So let's just go straight to the issue of the day. Why did you immigrate?
Well, for me, I must be honest. I'm actually not one of those people who had the Canadian dream. It was purely, I think I would call it providence or coincidence. My brother-in-law at the time was living in Canada, and I remember he just came home with these forms and insisted just fill it out. I didn't even understand what I was doing. But fast forward to decades later, I am so grateful and thankful to God for that opportunity. I filled the forms at the time and went through the process. Then it was easier. It was way easier than what it has become right now. And I had my visa, and for 2 years, I did not move. I didn't leave home. I wasn't going to leave home anyways. It was not in my agenda.
Okay, hold on. Are you saying 2 years after getting the visas, you still stayed back?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I left Nigeria exactly 1 week before my timeline expired. And I had to leave because my son became very sick, and it was obvious that we needed, extra help with his health care because we had spent a lot, went through all the private hospitals, and he just had complications. And at that time, I was very grateful and thankful that I had that visa, because I just took my kids, hopped on the plane, and left.
Wow.
And voila. The rest is history, as they say. But I am glad that I came here, because as soon as we got here, I really began to value what I had, and I did not recognize all of those years that I had that visa in hand.
So what were your expectations like when you got on that plane and you were thinking, okay, finally, let's do this. Let's go to Canada. What was your immediate expectation?
Oh, like every natural human being, of course. My expectation was, okay, I finally have to go to Canada, right? What I have feared the most has come upon me. I literally have to go start my life all over again. But because I was good at my job, I'm good at what I do. Supply chain is like my bread and butter. I felt, it shouldn't be hard. Like, yeah, in Nigeria, I did well. I know my onions. If I get there, I should be able to kickstart my career. All I need to do is just pull out my resume and boom, I should have a job the next day. That was my initial expectation.
Okay.
But because I am a realist, it did not take long. I decided I didn't want to work for the first month because I had to settle the kids in. But after that first month, when I made up my mind that I wanted to work, I realized that my expectation was a dream. There is nothing like snap of the finger and then it happens. I realized that there was a process I had to follow. And at that point, I had to really sit myself down and think about a strategy of how to plan my life from that point forward.
Absolutely interesting. So you all of a sudden you realize that this is not going to happen by the snap of a finger. There is a process in place. There are some things I need to do. So I guess the question would have been, what would you think you should have done better to be, like, what would you have done better to be prepared?
Oh, two things. There was something I actually forgot to mention. That week that I was supposed to leave Nigeria, a friend had mentioned to me that there was some form of a program, like an orientation program, that she was going to attend because she was relocating as well.
Okay.
And she came and whisked me along with her because I, I really wasn't interested. But I did go for that program. But I was very distracted. So half of what they said, I must confess, I wasn't listening. But I can remember that I heard a particular I don't know what to call it now, context. There was a word that struck me. It wasn't a word, it was two words. I heard the word culture shock. I remember that the lady had mentioned something about culture shock, and I didn't understand because I was distracted.
Yeah.
One thing I feel like I should have done better was to have actually planned to attend that orientation program even from back home. I think it would have helped me a lot. It would have helped me if I opened my ears, paid attention, and listened.
Yeah.
Yes. But I didn't listen. And so when I got here and I realized, trust me, because of the way I'm wired, I started, Googling things, how to settle down. I live in Manitoba, Winnipeg precisely. How to settle down in Manitoba. And I saw all sorts of, immigrant support agencies.
Yeah.
And I was confused because I didn't know which one to pick. So I decided to talk to a few people within my community, within the Nigerian community. They were varying,
absolutely,
like all sorts of advice. People would tell you what to do based on their own personal experiences, and everyone's experience was totally the same. And so but the one thing I knew was that I needed an orientation program. So what I did was to send an email to the lady who had the orientation program in Nigeria. And I said, "Oh, my name is Obi. I was in your orientation class. I have now arrived in Canada. But I'm sorry, I cannot remember, what my next steps should be. Where should I go to?" Wow. And the lady replied, and she gave me two agencies that she thought I should reach out to. So to your question, Kemi, I think what I should have done better is, even before leaving home, I should have taken a bit of time to, go through the orientation program, ask some questions, have a structured plan. I did not have a plan.
Yeah.
I didn't have a settlement plan at all. I just felt it's going to be easy. But when I got here, I realized that no, there's so many nuances around here that you need to become cognizant of.
Yeah.
That would help you settle down quickly. And so that lady was like my guide. She suggested two agencies, and that was where I started from.
Okay, so let's fast forward to a year. So what was now your outlook after 1 year? I'm still going to go back to the issue of having an integration plan, because that's what the successful immigrant is all about. It's amazing that we go through all the stress to immigrate and we just assume that things are going to just fall on our laps. The immigration process, like you would know, is not easy. It's involving, it's engaging. But we just assume that once we get that visa, kumbaya, all is going to be good. We're going to be fine. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so what was your outlook 1 year after?
My outlook 1 year after, I felt a year after, I looked back and I said, yes, Obi, you have taken the right steps. You now have a plan. You are in the right place. And there was a reason why I had to validate myself, to tell myself I am in the right place. Because, Kemi, I'll be honest with you, 4 months after I got here, I felt like a square peg in a round hole. I asked
Awesome.
myself, what am I doing here? Am I in the right place? Was this a good idea? And all of that. But after a year, that perspective changed.
Hmm.
It changed because I had now, understood where I was. I had now understood what I needed to do. I understood what was required of me. And I
Mhm.
understood an individualized plan that I could, walk through that would take me from point where I was to
Mhm.
point where I wanted to be, especially
Absolutely.
in my career. Yes.
Absolutely. 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 Awesome. Awesome. So, I just wanted to ask, why did you think you were like a square peg in a round hole? Was it the culture?
Because
Was it the fact that I couldn't get a job? Was it just the people? Was it the way they were talking? What was it?
culture shock.
Okay.
Culture shock. Culture, that expression, yes, that was the word I was trying to find. That expression, culture shock,
Mm-hmm.
is an embodiment of everything put together.
Okay.
It was the culture. Sometimes it was the people, which was also part of the culture. I struggled with, I'm a hugger, for example. My thing is, I love to hug people. It's my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And back home, even in my workplace, like we say good morning to each other and we hug.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then I get here, and my first day at the orientation class that I
Mm-hmm.
attended here, I remember when I got off the bus, my first culture shock. I got off the bus and I wasn't sure which one was north, which one was south,
Mm.
because the address said something something south on Pottage, and my geography was so bad. I'm like, hey God, where am I? I don't understand south and north,
Mm-hmm.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
I understand the number. So there was a lady right across the road. So I crossed and I went to her. I'm like, okay, that's a lady. I can't talk
Mm-hmm.
to a guy, but let me go to a lady. And I said, oh, good morning, excuse me. Manitobans are so nice and friendly. So she smiled at me and she said, oh, good morning. How
Mm-hmm.
are you? How can I help you? I said, oh, I'm going to this address and I don't understand which way is north or south.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I moved closer to her, just trying to show her my phone. And she backed off.
Mm-hmm.
And I went closer. And the lady literally ran back. Like, so I'm like,
Right. Okay. What's going
I
on?
looked at myself and so she put out her hand. She literally did this. She put her hand out and said, oh, hold on, hold on, hold on. Like back up. Just
I'm
stay where you
slant.
are.
I'm slant.
I did not understand it. I felt embarrassed. I looked at myself. What am I smelling? Is something going on with me? Like, she like, then I thought, oh, does she think I want to attack her? In my
Mm.
mind, I felt, oh, maybe she feels I want to attack her. So
Mm-hmm.
I stepped back. So she said, can you read? She did this. She didn't put her hand down. And she said, read the address to me. Read the address to
My
me.
world.
So I read it to her and she says, oh, you're going like 2 buildings away. Thank you. Bye. And then she turned around and walked away.
Ooh.
I was flustered, Kemi.
Wow.
My eyes were red. I was teary. I felt embarrassed. I was confused.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the first thought was, oh, they've always talked about racism. Why? The fact that I'm asking for an address does not mean I'm a criminal. In
Yeah.
my mind, I interpreted it like, oh,
Yeah.
she's seeing me like
She
I'm
was
a criminal.
profiling you. Yeah.
She was profiling me,
Mm-hmm.
right? But of course, that was such an incorrect assumption.
Yeah.
So I got into the building, shock number two. So the lady there was nice and warm. She says, good morning, blah, blah, blah. And this is me. I just had a rough time outside. I needed a hug.
Oh my God.
And here's this lady, smiling and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And then she offers me a cup of coffee. And I said, oh, yes, thank you. That would be so nice. So
Mm-hmm.
she hands me the coffee. I put it on my table and I said, can I give you a hug?
What?
Exactly. Can I? Exactly. You see that look on your
What?
face? Shock. She's like, oh, no, that's not necessary.
Yeah, I don't exchange hugs for cups of coffee.
I mean, those were
Wow.
the kind of things that I experienced.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing was looking for a job.
Yeah.
So I
Abs-
started putting out my resume And no company called me even for an interview. And I did not know what was wrong. Of course, by the time I started this integration program at the agency, I understood, what was wrong. The language was different. The environment was different.
Absolutely.
The style was different. My job was a specialist field. The laws of the land, which is what forms the bane of what we do as supply chain people, was different.
Different, yeah.
And so I thought, this is not funny. How am I going to start? And I also realized I needed a certification that would show that I understood how supply chain worked in Canada.
Here. Absolutely.
Specifically.
Yeah.
And I did not have that.
And how did that make you feel, though? With all your certification, with all your experience, you came in.
It made me feel, let me speak like a Nigerian. It made me feel, what? What is all this? I'm a pro.
Yeah.
For crying out loud, I work with one of the top companies in Nigeria. I know my onions. I felt, how can these people even look at my resume? It says it all. I'm Nigerian trained, I'm UK trained, it's all there. This is Canada. What is so different about their environment and what they expect in the workplace? I felt bad for two reasons. I felt bad because you know how it is when you're doing foreign exchange and converting Nigerian money into dollars, and that's what you're spending.
Yeah.
It's hard when you just see your income going down. Nothing is coming in.
Yeah.
Right. And then the third reason why I felt very bad was because the minimum wage was so minimum that I felt like,
got it.
What are we talking about? Earning this kind of money per hour, and then any money per hour as well was just a concept that did not sit well with me, coming from a salaried environment, you see. So there were a lot of things that did not sit well with me at all, and those were part of the things. The culture shock, it was the people, and then sometimes the people are talking and it almost sounds like they are whispering. I can't hear what they're saying. And I'm like, pardon me. Could you repeat yourself? I got tired of asking people to repeat themselves all the time. Sometimes I would say, can you speak louder? Then they look at me weird, like, do you have hearing problems?
And what was screaming?
So, Kemi, there was just so many things. And then the way they spoke too, the accent was different.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I couldn't make out what exactly they were saying, even though it's the same English language. I also had a challenge. They wouldn't understand what I was saying because my accent was different. So there were all of these things, especially that affect and impact our ability to communicate generally. I had all those challenges. And that was why I was thinking, man, is this
how is
right
going to work? How is this going to work?
How is this even going to work? Like, how would I even settle down here? Then the weather too was a totally different story. Altogether. And I live in Winnipeg, really, really cold. It was just a gamut of different things that made it a bit difficult. And our lifestyle in Nigeria is totally different from the lifestyle here. I was bored to my forehead. There was no noise. There was nobody hawking on the street. That was when I realized that I actually love noise. I didn't know that I love a bit of noise. Honestly, I say to people that was when I realized that I miss Yapa Market. I just miss driving past the railway
and all the
seeing all the colors and all the interesting things. People hawking. You will see colors of fish, colors of plantain, colors of clothes.
This is a different level of Obiageli.
I'm telling you, Kemi, I missed those things. It was too quiet. It was too quiet, and I realized that, there's a lot of things that actually make up our embodiment as human beings. For me, it was all those little simple things that I did not realize were a part of my embodiment.
Yeah.
And so, yes, those were all the things that made me feel like, huh, can I really
fit in here?
Can I really fit in here?
Yeah. So I guess one thing I was going to ask is, I know, yeah, we've come here over the years, things are happening, we've achieved quite a number of stuff. What is that one thing that you're proud of in your immigrant journey?
I would say it's the mark I've made in my career.
Mm.
And I am so proud of myself and the mark I have made in my career. Well, it's two things that I'm proud of. It's the mark I've made in my career, how I've been able to manage my career till date. The second thing is the contributions that I constantly find myself making, within my communities. The fact that I have value and I'm able to add that value to lives, and it makes their lives meaningful. Those are the two things I am most proud of.
Absolutely. Obi, like we say back home, Nigeria, they carry last. Wherever we go, we get in there.
If you're ready to put in the work, we know they carry last, honestly. And we're not lazy people.
Absolutely.
And us, Nigerians, the thing about us is we are wired to be diligent. I'm not saying other tribes are not, but there is just that thing about an average Nigerian or an African, specifically Nigerian. We always want to make sure we represent our country well, because there's enough bad news out there because of the few bad eggs that we have. But the way we can change that narrative is how we carry ourselves and present ourselves in our immediate environment.
Absolutely.
I always tell myself, I am the Nigeria people will encounter.
Absolutely.
They're going to define my country based on their encounters with me. And so that puts the responsibility of me making sure that I am mindful of how I carry myself, what I stand for,
absolutely,
what I do, and how I come across to the people that I meet on a daily basis.
Yeah. Wow. This has been very interesting conversation, honestly. It just feels like we should go on and on and on and on and on. So just on a last note, if you had one advice to give to newcomers, new immigrants, what would that be?
It will be manage your expectations and be patient.
Manage your expectations and be patient.
Yes. Be realistic. And Kem, if you permit me, I would like to share this.
Okay.
Especially for Nigerians who are professionals and they migrate to this place. Please be realistic. And I like to use this analogy because I called myself for a meeting and I said, Obi, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Obi, sit down. I sat down. Let's discuss.
Yeah.
Why are you feeling so frustrated? This was when I was feeling like a square peg. What's your issue? And my issue was, I was a manager in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be a manager here. I feel like that is so far away and I don't even know how to start.
Yeah.
So I started talking to myself and I said, but what was your journey before you became a manager in Nigeria?
In Nigeria, absolutely.
That one question that I asked myself helped me manage my expectations and it changed my perspective totally. And the answer was simple. What was my journey? Okay, I came out of school, went for youth service. I started applying. I did all the walking around and all that, interviews. And then I got a job. And then what happened? What kind of job was my first job? I got a job as a starter, right? And then I asked myself, so did you not go through the process of climbing the ladder? Like, how did you go from being a youth corper to becoming a manager?
Absolutely, yeah.
It was a 3-year. Well, I didn't even become a manager in 3 years.
Oh, it would have taken quite.
It was within 3 years that I realized what I wanted to do, what kind of organizations I wanted to work, and what career path I had to follow. It took me 3 years to find my beginning.
To figure that out, yeah.
Yes, it took me an average of 3 years to figure out my beginning. Yeah. Even in my own country.
How much more?
How much more here?
I know.
And so I asked myself, I said, Obi, then I answered myself, ma'am, I like doing that a lot. So be honest with yourself. Who knows you here?
Well, Justin Trudeau.
I said, nobody. Who knows your father? I said, nobody. Who knows your mother in this country?
Nobody.
Madam, you're nobody here. Nobody knows you.
So you got to do the work.
All they know is your resume that they see.
Yeah.
How do you expect them to take your word for it?
Mm-hmm.
In your own country, you had to work your way, constantly prove yourself, and people started recognizing you.
Absolutely.
Then you get here to a new country and you're saying, I am telling you, I am.
No, I got masters.
A bag of chips and everything else. And you want them to believe you? No way. Girl,
yeah, you got to work for it, baby. You got to
work for it. So I said,
work.
Obi, if it took you 3 years to find your beginning in Nigeria, you're going to sit down and give yourself a 3-year target. You're not going to be afraid of starting from the beginning.
Yeah.
But what you must do is you must seek knowledge.
Absolutely.
Because knowledge is what will give you the advantage of speed and momentum.
Absolutely.
And that was what I did, Ken.
Wow. Awesome story.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Manage your expectations.
Be realistic.
Seek the knowledge you need and be realistic.
Absolutely. Awesome conversation. Obi, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
So just on a final note, if peradventure our viewers love what went on this afternoon, they're like, oh, please bring back Obi. I hope you're going to oblige us and come back to the show one of these days.
Okay. I will tell you people something about this awesome lady in front of me. If she calls me twice, I would answer her 4 times.
Oh my God.
Kemi has been such a blessing to me. Anytime, Kemi, it will be an honor to just show up. And I love having these conversations. So yes, it will be an honor. If you need me, I'm just a text message away. I will show up.
Thank you, darling. Have the fantastic rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
All right. Oh, go out and get a copy of the book, The Successful Immigrant, guys. Go out and pre-order your book right now. I tell you, like I said, knowledge gives you the advantage of speed and momentum. You do not have to sit back and waste time. Kemi has the resources that you need. I wish this book was in existence when I arrived, right? So take advantage, pre-order your book, and yeah, I wish you success. Thank you, Kemi.
Thank you so much, Obi. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.